century ago, flying looked very different. Cockpits were open to the elements. Pilots flew without instruments, often relying on maps and wristwatches for navigation and timing. To function in these conditions, watches had to be large, legible, and durable. Easy to read at a glance, even with gloves on. That's how the pilot watch came to be. Today, brands continue to draw from that aviation heritage, blending function with identity. Here, we take a look at 10 pilot watches available in 2025, each with a story rooted in flight. When warplanes flew low and loud across Europe in the 1940s, a handful of watchmakers were tasked with building timepieces tough enough for the job. IWC was one of them. The oversized Bayeux watches, produced for German Luftwaffe pilots, featured large, luminous dials and anti-magnetic inner cases, details that became standard across the industry. 80 years later, that DNA is still present in the pilot's watch Chronograph 41. The layout remains instantly legible, and inside, the modern in-house movement offers chronograph functionality and a 46-hour power reserve. In 1909, Louis Blériot became the first person to fly across the English Channel. On its wrist was a zenith. The brand would go on to trademark the word pilot for use on watches. With its oversized numerals, large crown, and high contrast dial, the 2024 Big Date Flyback draws from that heritage. Inside is the high-frequency El Primero automatic movement with flyback chronograph functionality. During World War II, only 5 German watchmakers were commissioned to build the so-called Bayeux navigation watches. Laco was one of them. Today, its Flieger range stays true to that legacy with clean dials, oversized crowns, and a choice of Type A or Type B layouts. For those who value historical accuracy, it's one of the closest links to the original pilot's watch still in production. Longines played a significant role in the early days of long-distance flight. Its chronometers were worn by aviation pioneers like Amelia Earhart and Howard Hughes, and the brand built watches designed specifically for aerial navigation. Modeled on a 1930s military chronograph, the Big Eye is one of Longines' more understated nods towards aviation past. The design stays close to the original, oversized counters, easy-to-use pushers, and a layout built around legibility. In 1952, Breitling introduced a Navitimer, a chronograph with a circular slide rule that allowed pilots to perform flight calculations on the wrist. It quickly became a tool of choice for commercial and military aviators alike. More than 70 years later, with the Navitimer B01 chronograph, the watch remains remarkably close to its original concept. Oris has made aviation-inspired watches since the early 20th century, notably the Big Crown from 1938. But its modern Pro Pilot line reinterprets those themes with contemporary materials and design. With a lightweight titanium case, a turbine-inspired bezel, and an in-house Oris movement, the Pro Pilot Excalibur 400 is aviation-influenced but unmistakably modern. Bangalore Watch Company's Mach 1 series taps into a long legacy of Indian Air Force history, specifically the MiG-21 fighters that dominated India's Cold War-era skies. The BWC Mach 1 Aviator, which is powered by a Swiss automatic movement, features cockpit-style numerals, a MiG afterburner-inspired crown, and the Indian Air Force fin flash at 9 o'clock. Citizen's ProMaster range has long appealed to those who want pilot watch functionality without the high price tag, and it delivers a lot for the money. Radio control timekeeping, solar charging, chronograph, and the slide rule bezel. The Glycine Airman debuted in 1953 after extensive feedback from professional pilots. Its key innovation, a 24-hour rotating bezel, let wearers track 2 time zones well before the GMT Master popularized the idea. The Noon edition keeps that structure intact, offering a purist 24-hour display with minimal updates.